Well, hi, it's Rob here with another AGvisor podcast. And today we got a brand new technology to showcase for you. Mark Hlady is the CEO founder of SimpleHedge. And SimpleHedge is a marketing tool. And as you guys in the grain industry understand, there's a whole bunch of complexity around puts and calls and options and future positioning and not a lot of really great tools out there. So Mark and I ran into each other at the Inventures Conference in Calgary. I downloaded the app immediately and got to understand what they were doing, set up my model farm, and yeah, so Mark and SimpleHedge have now come on AgVisor Pro in an effort to reach out to more farmers and have more constructive conversation with farmers about what they can do. So, Mark, welcome to the AgVisor podcast.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Good to have you. All right. So, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on your background. I'm just going to say, suffice to say, that you're a fairly technical guy. You've got a background in Silicon Valley. You've been looking at this problem for a little while. Why did you tackle what you are tackling with SimpleHedge? What is it that drove you to try? What problems are you trying to address?
So it's my third company. I wanted to do something that's personally really meaningful to me. The other two were both in tech, built them and sold them. And then I was taking time to talk to farmers. I grew up in Saskatchewan. A lot of family, friends were farmers, and I've always been interested in the food system itself. So I don't have a farm today, but I wanted to start investing in farm tech. So I went out to a few events like Inventures, met a bunch of guys building cool things in agriculture. But as I started talking to farmers, I would hear, we have 100 new companies trying to sell us something,
Yeah.
but we need something that really moves the needle. And started talking more about that. And what are your biggest problems? And grain marketing kept coming up as the biggest problem. And so I said to them, well, why don't you just use your banking app? And I started to discover that you couldn't trade futures on the banking apps. I couldn't believe this wasn't a solved problem. So I went home that day and I researched this and said, you know what, like I'm sure there's some solution for this. There's a modern solution for grain marketing. And there wasn't. And so I talked to other guys in the grain marketing industry and started to realize that no one had built this before. So I talked to another friend who's in investing for farmers. And he said, well, yeah, we'll invest if you can build this. And I said, well, yeah, I'm excited to build it. So we partnered up and have been building it ever since.
So this whole area, I mean, there's a few apps been out there on matching, like it's like a buyer seller kind of matching. But what you've done here is taken it to an entire different level that is several degrees higher than just simply matching. I know that farmers and brokers, I'm just looking at your website here, farmers and brokers would both be using this product, but it elevates the tools available to a farmer and somebody who's coaching a farmer on grain marketing with the ability to hedge and participate in the futures, correct?
Absolutely. So the physical side was relatively fine. But what I started to see was that a lot of guys were underutilizing the futures markets and the options markets. And that was guys who were both at brokers and guys who were doing it by themselves. It just felt like the information wasn't cleanly displayed so that it came across as intimidating. And since releasing SimpleHedge, I talked to one guy and he said, I've been hearing about puts for 20 years. This is the first time I've really understood how it impacts my farm. Yep. So for each person that downloads the app, within 5 minutes, they can see exactly how the put will impact their own farm based on their own cost of production, their yield, their region, and the market prices in that moment.
I love it. I set up a demo of a fictitious farm, 10,000 acres, and then I put in all my crops into it. And every day I go to it, and it changes the profitability of my crops based on the markets, right? Which is a great place to start, you know?
Absolutely. And there's almost no data input required. I think that sign up might take you 2 minutes. We're not talking about your cost of production. We can actually use AI and other techniques to estimate that cost of production for you. Then you can correct it, but you don't have to start from scratch with SimpleHedge.
Right. We're talking about SimpleHedge today, folks. They're on AGvisor Pro. Download AGvisor Pro, connect to Mark and SimpleHedge there, and download SimpleHedge on iOS and Android. Oh, sorry, iOS right now, right? You're not on Android yet?
Actually, we have two awesome apps. One is on the iOS App Store, and the other is on the web. So you can access that from your desktop computer, your laptop, or your Android phone. And that's simplehedge.com.
Okay, so that's great. So the challenge that we're tackling is we're trying to give farmers and grain marketers a simple way to access more tools. You use the terminology puts and calls and options and futures. And I run a power farm group, and of those 20 farms, we may have a handful that are actually hedging or playing risk mitigation strategies using this tool. I think what you built here is going to open up a whole lot more opportunity for farmers to do this. And I love the terminology simple and hedge at the same time. So talk to us a little bit more about the backbone and what goes into the thinking and utilization of the product.
Yeah. So the key insight here was that folks before SimpleHedge would think that it was gambling to buy futures or sell futures. But once you understand your actual risk, so SimpleHedge is for farmers who are serious about risk management. Once you understand your actual risk of commodity price movements, you know that you're maybe $2 million long in your inventory. It's actually a gambling to not use SimpleHedge. So when prices are sufficiently high, what you can do is you can sell some physical grain, absolutely. But then instead of letting too much of your production ride due to weather uncertainty or yield uncertainty, what you can do with SimpleHedge is hedge another proportion with futures, either selling the future outright based on what you're growing or by buying a put.
Mark, does the application, I haven't done this yet, I just set up my model farm, but does the application then connect to the farmer's bank account? How is that all back end structured?
Yeah, it's a great question. So SimpleHedge is your software tool to keep track of your farm's profitability, manage physical and financial positions all in one spot and get that visibility. So we're the software tool for visibility. And then in order to make trades, you actually open up a brokerage account with any leading broker, or you can connect an existing brokerage account to SimpleHedge at no cost.
Oh, okay. So I didn't know that. So that's really interesting. So if I've already got a brokerage account, connect the brokerage account to SimpleHedge, and it takes care of tracking my position.
It does. So no more end of day statements that are difficult to read. No more putting your money in and hoping for the best. You can actually see your money. You can see those positions. Importantly, know when to exit them throughout the growing season.
And it's tracking it in real time. Like my profitability in my farm changes all through the day, depending on the markets. Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah. And then you can see that breakdown. So you see the farm profitability based on your physical, what you're expecting to grow. You have your inventory in there, and you also have your financial positions. So maybe your puts going up in value if the market's going down.
Have you set up alerts inside the system, Mark?
Yeah. So you can put in a price target, or you can start to think about what's your return on investment, your ROI that you want. And you can say, let me know when I can make a 20% ROI by buying a put contract. So you can really start to use the app in a powerful way to make sure that you don't miss market movements.
This is extraordinary. Like, I mean, I spent 20 years running AgriTrend and 20 years listening to puts and calls and still trying to figure what the hell that all means. But what you've done here now is you've visually stimulated my mind so I can follow and track what my position is. So let's talk a little bit about the target market for SimpleHedge. Again, you can download it on iOS, or you can use simplehedge.com and you can run that on your desktop or Android, whatever. But let's talk about who the target market is for SimpleHedge.
Yeah, so SimpleHedge is built for farmers. A lot of other apps are built for grain companies, but SimpleHedge is built for farmers. And today we're focused on hedging. And as we continue to build a product, we'll always be putting farmers first. And so when I say farmers, we're talking about guys that are just getting going, maybe 500 acres, all the way up to some folks on the app with about 30,000 acres. So a huge range of farmers, and they're all using SimpleHedge. And what's cool is that you can use SimpleHedge the way you want to use it. So if you want to take trading into your own hands, you can do that through our self-directed options on SimpleHedge. If you have a broker that you want to work with, and we have some awesome brokers on the platform that I would recommend, you can work with that broker, but instead of texting back and forth, you can see all the analysis in SimpleHedge, but then have somebody to talk to make those marketing decisions. So no matter if you want to do it yourself or do it with a broker, you can do it better on SimpleHedge.
So let's say I had SimpleHedge and I was a farmer and I was working with a grain coach or a broker. How do you tie the two people into the same account?
Yeah, so we have an amazing engineering team, and we have integrations with most of the large FCMs, which is where the money is actually held. It's like the bank. And so for a farmer, it's easy. They just email their broker and say, hey, I'd like to be on SimpleHedge. And then assuming that broker signed up with us, and most of them are, we can just turn them on the back end. And the next morning, they'll see all their positions live in SimpleHedge at no cost to them.
What about the crops that you're, I should ask the question, is it crops and is it also livestock?
Oh, it's livestock as well. I'm looking at where livestock prices are. There's a lot of guys that could do pretty well hedging livestock right now.
Talked to a rancher yesterday, shipped some cow-calf pairs, and he said, I just wanted to sell some to show that once in my life I got $7,500 for a cow-calf pair. So making some money right now, but the risk, you know, they're paying they're paying over $2,000 to get a calf onto the farm right now, $1,700 for a 3-day-old calf. So there's risk involved, and again, this can go a long way to helping them mitigate that risk as well.
And this is a massive risk. So you're outlaying this cash. The guys I know are maybe 80% leveraged, at least 50% leveraged. And then the price can drop if we have a slowdown in the US economy. And you can listen to different folks on whether a slowdown will happen or not. So I'm not going to make a prediction of if it'll happen, but there is absolutely a material risk that the economy could slow down. If the economy slows down, you can see beef prices start to fall. And so a lot of these guys could be underwater if they don't put some futures on soon.
So they take the position, and based on the futures, they backstop it. Another thing that I could see this being really useful for is educating the bankers, because if you get a call against your position, you've got to cover that call. That margin call's got to be covered off, and the bank needs to understand why you're doing it. Very often the bank pulls the rug out at the worst possible time, because what you've in fact done is not increase, but you've hedged your risk and you know exactly what that risk is. So I think this is going to create a conversation amongst bankers and lenders too.
Absolutely. We're going to try and get guys the best credit products possible. We don't have that on the app yet, but everything we hear farmers want, we're working hard to build. And we're already working with some credit partners to get better loans for farmers.
Talk to me about the swath of crops that what determines what is on SimpleHedge and what's not on SimpleHedge.
Yeah, it's based on the global commodity markets. So whatever's tradable and hedgeable on the global commodity market, you can hedge on SimpleHedge.
So if I'm growing sugarcane?
Not today. That's a great question. So we're focused on Canadian and US producers. So row crops in Canada and the US, and cattle in Canada and the US. So that's wheat, canola, corn, soybeans, and cattle.
Yeah, so I mean, I set up all the crops that were grown in Canada, and that was really easy. It was really easy to set up my farm.
Yeah.
I don't have a farm, a fake farm, but anyways, it was really easy to set up my farm, and I've had fun watching it move. So you and I, like I said, connected at InVentures, and you decided to take a shot and come on AGvisor Pro. Why did that appeal to you? What do you see in AGvisor Pro that is of interest to you?
Yeah, we want to be there putting farmers first. And if that's where farmers want to get help, we're happy to be where farmers are, offering the support that we can.
So if you've got AgVisor Pro on your phone, if you don't download it, it's free. And then you can connect directly to Mark on AgVisor Pro. You can connect to him audio, video. You can chat with him privately. You can ask a question in the grain marketing communities or on the main page. And then the experts and companies associated with grain marketing, like Mark and SimpleHedge, will see that. And that can create a contact and a connection for you where you didn't have one before. Mark, just to wind this up, I'm really impressed. We're going to have to do another one of these in 6 or 8 months to kind of get caught up with you. Any final comments for the farmers and the brokers out there?
That's great to be here. And on AGvisor Pro, definitely reach out. I'm excited to talk about the app and what other features folks want to see in there as well. So our broker partners often suggest things they want to see. We build those in a matter of weeks. And same with farmers. They'll suggest something new. Hey, I want this type of analysis. I wish I could do this. And we just have an amazing, amazing team. And we'll get those features out in a matter of weeks. So if there's things you want to see in SimpleHedge, reach out, let me know.
So provide your feedback. Download the app like SimpleHedge on iOS or desktop, simplehedge.com. And thanks for being on the AgVisor podcast. We'll be using this as a kind of a webinar, but also as a podcast for people to listen to. And the links will be in the description below. Thanks a lot for being a guest on today's show, Mark.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.